Hi, welcome to The Canvas. I'm Azhar Zahid Carrim, and today we have with us a very special guest. Her art focuses on using the palette knife, and that is a style in terms of painting. I have with me Neleisha. Neleisha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Art. It is an expression of skill, technique, and creativity. It's where you bring your imagination onto a canvas. I'm your host, Azhar Carrim. I am a producer, content creator, and an artist. I invite you to this show to meet other artists. This could be the creative, the hungry, the energetic, and the aspiring. And get to know their insights on their art, their creativity, and more about themselves. Want to know what it takes to be an artist? Welcome to The Canvas with Azhar Zahid Carrim. Tell us about yourself as a person as well as an artist.
As a person, I would say I'm the introvert and shy person in my family, and I come from a family of artists, although they're not really in the professional field as such. I'm the eldest, and I've been having sort of a wide and interesting career as well. In different fields, like say starting from marketing to education and let's say non-for-profit. My last tenure was at a place that focuses on online education, and I've always been dabbling here and there with art, but I've not really focused on it. It took me a while to realize that you have to really follow your passion, and that's what I think that's what I'm doing now. So
how long was that ago?
I think 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
That I really sort of gave it my fullest attention, and I've been enjoying it quite a lot, and hope to continue to.
So what exactly gave that push?
I think it comes to a point like you've been doing different things, trying to see whether that's your career and whether that's something that will, inspire you to do better. And I think it was in my last tenure where I was doing online education, and towards the end of that period I got married also, and thought of giving myself a break, and with my husband's support, of course. He's fully behind me. So he actually said, why won't you, just give it a try and see, focus full time. So I thought, why not? I had nothing to lose, so I'm very grateful for him, actually.
You just went along that path.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your art style. It focuses a lot on textures and the use of palette knife. So how did that style come to be?
Yeah, I initially started with brushes, as any artist would, and I can't exactly say I all of a sudden decided, no, I wanted to use palette knives. I was just playing out with the paints, and I think it just came spontaneously. I was using a lot of mediums to mix the paint, and I used the knife to mix it on the palette and then, apply it with a brush. But then I think randomly decided, okay, why not use the knife itself? And slowly but surely it sort of came naturally to me. I think my strokes are more spontaneous with the knife than a brush.
Are there any specific meaning behind certain paintings, or do you have usually when people paint they have some sort of message they want to send? So is it anything similar for you, or?
On a personal level, I don't really want to impose a certain idea. Okay, this is it. What inspires me might not be the same thing that inspires someone else.
Of course.
So what I like my paintings to be is more evocative. It sort of maybe take people to some place, or maybe it's a memory, or maybe it can be a bad memory, good memory. Hopefully it's a good one. So I would like them to be more evocative, as I said earlier. So it's not a conceptual idea or anything that I want to give out. I like it to be more positive, and because those are the things that influence me a lot. So.
Just make them feel a certain way, technically, like hopefully something positive.
Yeah. Because I at the moment I'm doing more landscapes, so I'd like them to maybe remember a happy event they had at the beach, or maybe it's some memory from childhood, those things that they keep close to their hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of workspace essentials, like what do you need exactly, or do you need a specific place to be at when you're producing any of your works?
Not necessarily, because I believe that you need to make use of wherever you are, if you want to do something. Because at the moment I am actually moving between two places, Kandy and Colombo. So
yeah.
I don't have a set studio space, so I paint here and there. And I think that's more invigorating too, because for me, making use of whatever material I have at that time and trying to, create something. So apart from that, I really do need my knives, and preferably good light. Doesn't have to be a studio light as such. And I can't do without my tea.
Of course. So any specific influence for your type of style? It can be a person, maybe even the environment, anything, or any specific artist that influenced you?
Yes, I would say Van Gogh is my main person. I really love his work, and I don't really try to paint like him. I can't paint like him. When it comes to living artists, I really do like Joseph Cote and Richard Claremont. I really like their expressive styles and how free and fluid their work is. So that's sort of a personal goal for myself, sometimes when you keep painting, you try to make a painting too perfect. The strokes, you want it perfect, and that sort of makes the painting very rigid. But their work, it's very, you can see that they are very fluid, and the strokes are very free, and that's sort of like where I want to be someday.
So while painting these, do you have like any sort of thought process, any feeling, or you just have a plan, or is it like maybe borderline impulsive when you're doing these?
It's a bit of both, I would say. I do need a plan, because you need to compose your setting, what you have in mind. You need to do a few sketches, maybe do some watercolor or crayon sketches just to see how the colors work at least. I do that process, and once I have that idea in mind, I just start, and sometimes it completely changes. The end result is completely different, but sometimes it stays true to its original form. So I do want to keep my work more spontaneous, so it's a learning process.
So it's always an unexpected result, but hopefully a good one.
Yeah.
And let's talk about now social media, because I found you through social media to come on this show. So has it been of any help to you?
Oh yes, tremendously, because I think it gives the artist the control, to create a space for themselves out there. Because how an artist can show their work is continuously changing. And, there's a lot of people who, sell and market themselves completely online.
Yeah.
And as I've got to know a lot of interesting artists, and some of my main clients are, from the online presence itself. So it's been a big help.
So Neleisha, can I call you a full-time artist?
I would say not at the moment, because starting out with your career, you need some financial support as well.
Of course.
So I learned this the hard way. I tried to do it full time, but then it sort of puts a strain on you, because you're trying to do things that sell, or try to create a market for yourself. You're trying too hard, and your work sort of suffers. So what I've learned is, like, at the initial stage of your career, if you can have something that supports you, that gives you more freedom to do the type of work that you really want. Because you're not really trying to, create something that only sells. Sells quickly, because it's not an FMCG product. So I'm actually working part-time, and it's on social media as well. So that has helped. It's helping in a way, because I'm trying to market myself on social media as well. So it works both ways.
So now, earlier you mentioned that you were in the field of marketing. So what exactly is your educational background?
I have a postgrad degree from USQ and CIM as well. So I started out in marketing. I wanted to be in advertising some time back, but then was discouraged for some reason. And then with my academic qualifications, I was able to get into education industry, and I've been there for quite a while. I've quite enjoyed it, and while doing that as well, I was still painting, but not, I couldn't commit full time. So that has tremendously helped me on the business side of the marketing, because I see a lot of artists who are very talented, but they don't have the business side of, business side knowledge, or how to take their art forward. So I think that has worked.
It's helped you get out there. Basically helped you, people can know who Neleisha is. So now usually I ask my guests what's the worst thing they heard as an artist. So what is the worst thing you heard as an artist?
Well, saying, art is not real work. I actually saw this small, I think it was a meme that said, especially during COVID, one of the, the most valuable professions and the most useless. So they put art in that useless category, On the outset they would say that, but people who are in the field and who love that field know that it means much more. So that's a bit of a, mindset issue, I think, but I think it's slowly changing.
Speaking of COVID, how is it going throughout this situation with you?
Well, I would say it has helped and it has not helped also. So, in terms of movement, we've been restricted. But I think it has made me look at my priorities also, and made certain adjustments in your personal life, work life. Because end of the day, you come to a point where you realize, okay, you need to focus more of your time on what really matters. Sometimes we might be spending too much on our job or painting or even, cleaning and this and that. But, sometimes people might be here, they might not be there tomorrow.
Exactly.
So I think COVID has taught me personally to prioritize
what really matters. So in terms of future plans, what's your future plans?
As I said earlier, I really would want to make my paintings more fluid. So I'm also learning at the moment. So I'd like to perfect my craft and be a bit more free with my style, and that's a learning process.
Experiment more.
So I want to put more time into practicing, and hopefully I want to have a place of my own where I can, sort of like a studio, where I can paint and maybe display as well. So that's a plan. And I really would want to, I said I'm a homebody and an introvert, so I really have to work hard to get myself out there and meet more people. So
of course,
that's also another plan.
Hopefully. So a few words of motivation for the audience and for other artists who are also trying to strive in this country.
I would say, when you really find something that you want to do, you need to keep at it regardless of whether people appreciate your work or whether they are, whether they say, oh, good job or not. Because in your heart you need to feel, okay, I'm doing something. You have to be happy. And you need to keep doing that, and it takes a while. So you have to be there, you have to take it in the long run. And for artists, I would say anyone starting out, I would really, tell them, okay, have a part-time job or support plan or something that helps you. You can use that to buy your materials or supplies or whatever. Don't just drop your day job or whatever and start something completely different, because that will put a lot of strain on you, and your work will not be that good. So when you're starting out, it's not a bad thing to have a support, side job or side hustle or whatever you may call it.
Of course.
Because end of the day, that works well for you. Keeps you on your toes too.
Of course. So thank you, Neleisha, for coming on this show, and I wish you the best on your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.